You're saying a country is firing energy weapons through walls of buildings.
There's a new generation of weapons.
Hundreds struck down.
It felt like my head was in a vice.
Bam, inside my right ear.
Extreme vertigo, you lose control.
The symptoms aren't in dispute. Who and what caused them is.
The worldwide investigation reaching all the way to Australia.
Sounds like it's straight from a spy thriller.
Sunday.
Tonight, momentum for change as the alleged threats and disturbing escalating behaviour of Molly Ticehurst's accused killer are revealed. And we're live to the start of a national rally being launched in Newcastle calling for action on violence against women. Anzac Day tragedy, a father and daughter killed in a crash near Coffs Harbour, another driver charged. Detectives begin a 3-day search for a missing woman in bushland near the Jenolan Caves, and Adam O'Brien says now's the time for the Knights to prove they're not a one-man team as they head into the weekend without Kalen Ponga.
This is NBN News with Tyson Cottrill.
Good evening. It was an Anzac Day tragedy that rocked the mid-north coast. A father and daughter killed in a horrific crash while out riding together on a motorbike. Today, a 34-year-old driver faced court over the collision where he denied driving dangerously.
With his brother leading from the front, Lloyd Edward Bush leaves Coffs Harbour Court with his head down.
How are you feeling about the court outcome? What can you tell me about the crash?
The 34-year-old charged over a horrific Anzac Day crash which claimed the lives of a 54-year-old man and a 15-year-old girl believed to be a father and daughter.
At about 12:40pm, police were called to the Waterfall Way near Dorrigo in relation to a crash involving a motor vehicle and a motorcycle.
NBN News understands police will investigate if Bush was driving on the wrong side of the road when he allegedly collided with the motorbike. He's facing 2 charges each of dangerous and negligent driving causing death. Waterfall Way was closed in both directions as crash scene investigators canvassed the scene. The site of the crash is about 15 kilometres behind me towards Dorrigo.
With specialist crash investigation police attending, we require to maintain a crime scene until they've conducted investigations.
Today in court, the prosecution alleged Mr. Bush was driving a defective car with a bald rear tyre and defective door, saying he is a flight risk, recommending that bail be refused. His defence telling the court Mr. Bush was not driving dangerously and it was a tragic incident, not done intentionally. Magistrate Hamilton granted conditional bail considering Bush's limited driving history and criminal record. He will return to court on June 25. Britt Ramsey, NBN News.
Let's go to Bianca Werrett now, who's in Newcastle at a rally. Bianca, what's planned this evening?
Tyson, there's already hundreds of people here tonight, all marching to end domestic and sexual violence against women. This rally kicks off a national call for action. Launched by Newcastle group What Were You Wearing? Tonight they're calling on the Prime Minister to declare that violence against women is a national emergency and for immediate action. This march will go from the Newcastle Museum and finish at Nobby's Beach. And there'll be more this weekend with rallies planned in rural towns and capital cities across the country.
Bianca, thank you. Well, his threats against her were laid bare in court, but Molly Ticehurst's alleged killer was released anyway. And tonight, for the first time, we can bring you a police officer's chilling warning about his escalating behaviour. The registrar's decision and the 28-year-old's murder are now spurring a national campaign for change to stop more senseless domestic murders.
A nation's devastation turning to rising anger. Women in Ballarat and Newcastle tonight leading off a weekend of rallies for the 26 mothers, daughters, sisters and friends who've been murdered, allegedly at the hands of an intimate partner so far this year. Fresh in the minds of so many, the memory of Molly Ticehurst. She was just 28. Her ex-boyfriend, Daniel Billings, stands accused of murdering Molly on Monday morning, just 15 days after he was granted bail on domestic violence charges, a decision which has sparked calls for a royal commission.
My immediate response remains reform and review of the bail laws in New South Wales. The laws as they're currently constituted have let people down, in particularly Molly Ticehurst.
And we now know more about a critical bail hearing and a chilling warning from police that the alleged behaviour of Molly's ex was escalating towards the most disturbing conclusion. Billings was arrested on April 5th, charged with 10 offences dating back to January, 3 counts of sexual intercourse without consent, stalking and intimidation. Police kept him behind bars. A transcript from his appearance in Dubbo Court the next morning reveals the police sergeant argued there was a chance of endangering Molly's safety if bail was granted, telling the registrar repeated threats had been made to family members, with specific threats in relation to coming back, knowing where she lives and coming in the window.
He articulated those very well. They were very strong submissions. I don't think I could have made them any stronger myself.
But there is now a question over the strength of the police sergeant's submission. The sergeant asked the court to scrutinise carefully any proposed bail conditions, but did not say the words police oppose bail. The registrar granted it on the conditions that Billings report to police daily, not enter Forbes or go near Molly. When the case came before the court again on the 18th, this time an AVO to enforce the same conditions, but Billings remained free. The police commissioner says that exposes a potential hole in the legal system.
There's no legal basis to substantiate a review of the bail decision by the justice on the 6th. That should have been an opportunity for us, through our prosecutor, to say, while we're here, we want to make another objection.
4 days after the second court appearance, Molly was found dead. The Premier now plans to convene a special cabinet meeting next week, inviting prominent domestic violence campaigners, including Rosie Batty, to address our lawmakers about what needs to change.
The government needs to act, and we're prepared to do that.
Come Monday, the pressure will be amplified, these scenes to be replicated in capital cities and country towns tomorrow and Sunday.
Find people and get there, because the more people there, the more the government will realise this is actually something the community cares about and wants to actually make change on.
Liz Daniels, NBN News.
A former Maitland High School teacher who allegedly had sex with a student had his matter heard in court for the first time today. Daniel Belcher is facing 9 counts of sexual intercourse with a person in his care.
Daniel Belcher, accused of having sex with a student while he was a teacher, sits outside Maitland Courthouse before his first appearance. The 39-year-old is accused of having sex with one of his students over a 6-month period while he was a teacher at the All Saints College Maitland senior campus. Belcher charged with 9 counts of sexual intercourse with a person under his care between the age of 17 and 18. Investigation started when the school's leaders were made aware of the allegation last month. Belcher was removed from campus the same day and remains stood down. Today, his case was heard briefly, adjourned to 8 weeks, the prosecution requesting more time. Belcher must comply with the conditions of an AVO and hasn't yet entered a plea. Police are still gathering evidence in the case against Belcher, who remains on bail. His matter will next be heard in Newcastle in June, but the 39-year-old has been excused from appearing. Bianca Wert, NBN News.
Residents of Catherine Hill Bay are tonight calling for an urgent review after a drainage dam failed and flooded properties. They say Catho is a global gem which needs to be protected, but overdevelopment is destroying the village.
It was once a sleepy coastal community, the iconic wharf, a nod to its coal mining past. But this is Catherine Hill Bay today, as our drone shots reveal large areas looking more like an open-cut mine, as urban sprawl forever changes the once idyllic beach village. Then, last weekend, came this.
We had almost a catastrophic event, not only from houses being flooded, but also from the amount of material sediment that ended up in the creek and also on the pristine Catherine Hill Bay beach.
Known as Beaches, the development includes 550 home sites, as well as a dam and drainage system built for stormwater management. It was overwhelmed following heavy rain and the pump not working. The infrastructure built by Darracon, contracted by Rose Group.
I've lived here for 4 years. I've never seen so much water.
The water rushed through homes and ultimately into the ocean.
There are a lot of contaminants in that material, and those contaminants would have found its way into the creek and also onto the beach. And that's a disaster as far as an environmental disaster.
Mining engineer and local resident of 40 years, Damien Hawcroft, now calling for a review of the design.
Not Lake Macquarie City Council, not EPA, not the developer. I'd like to see an independent specialist because this is way too important.
When contacted today, Darracon said it wouldn't comment. We then tried developer Rose Group in Sydney.
The number you have called is not connected.
The EPA referred us to Lake Macquarie Council, who said it's not the certifier for this project, but staff attended the site earlier this week to ensure action. It understands Darracon and the certifier have agreed on a revised site management plan involving additional sediment and erosion controls, plus site sampling. All this with another 210-lot subdivision on the northern side of Catho about to be developed. Jane Goldsmith, NBN News.
It's a sacred site Indigenous women have fought to protect for more than a decade, known as the Butterfly Cave in West Wallsend. The land around it is set to be developed, but tonight, NBN News can reveal the developer is open to discussions with the state government.
Behind this gate is a sacred site used by Indigenous women for thousands of years. But these women have to ask a developer for permission to access the Butterfly Cave.
It was where the men knew the women would be safe. It was also used as a birthing place for the women.
Owned by Sydney-based Roche Group, the West Wallsend land where the cave sits is slated for a 404-lot housing subdivision known as Apple Tree Grove Estate, approved by Lake Macquarie Council in 2012. And while the cave is listed under the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Heritage Protection Declaration, locals say its privacy will be lost if the building goes ahead.
As soon as the houses are built, which we'll be looking into the cave on one of the stages, that's why we need to protect the land.
The group's petition calling on the state government to buy the land now has more than 180,000 signatures.
And then have it reserved under Parks and Wildlife, which means that it's protected in perpetuity, but that Aboriginal women, all women, have freedom of access to and from the site without having to ask for permission from a male in Sydney.
Roche Group owned Hammersmith Management telling NBN News it is now open to having discussions about land acquisition with the state government.
Wow. That's the best news we've heard. We've never ever heard that before. State government should come to the party now and work with Roche Group and agree to this.
Environment Minister Penny Sharp says she's met with the women on several occasions, understands how important the cave is to them, and is examining options to resolve the issue. Lake Macquarie Council says it will ensure any future development aligns with declaration requirements, as the group continues its fight to protect the historic site.
Because if we don't, they're gone. What have we got for our kids? What have we got for our kids learning?
Lauren Kemp, NBN News.
There's a warning for pet owners in parts of the Hunter with multiple cases of parvovirus detected across 4 suburbs. The Maitland Animal Rehoming Centre says 8 dogs from Cessnock, Curry, Weston and Paxton have presented with symptoms of the deadly virus. The RSPCA says at least 10 have been treated in its local facility and are urging owners to get their pets vaccinated. Taking a quick look at the weather across the region today, 20 degrees in Newcastle. You're watching NBN News. Still ahead, a 19-year-old man hands himself in after this alleged offending during the Sydney church riot. Police begin a 3-day search for a missing woman near the Jenolan Caves. 3 rate hikes by Christmas. That's the grim prediction from the nation's top economic forecaster. We hear from him next.
So I heard you're back in town and haven't changed a bit. Time you get what you deserve.
My team's getting ready to
So you wanna fight me? Are you big enough?
skill, power and passion. This is intense as footy gets. We are ready for Origin footy.
For the first time in women's Origin history, a blockbuster 3-match series.
Oh, baby, don't tell me I didn't warn you.
It's a huge game for those women out on the big stage.
Handball Women's State of Origin. Exclusive, live and free. Only on 9 and 9 now.
Sometimes life calls you to the water. Other days, well, they're a little different. Some days feel like a whirlwind where everything's going 100 k's an hour. Others call on you to celebrate the smaller things. Some call you to the rescue. Others mean business. Whatever the mission, Enterprise is helping people from locations all over Australia, every day.
Our hair colour is us. Colouring our hair goes deeper than outward beauty. It lets our true colours shine from within. And that's powerful. Create your style with Schwarzkopf Live Colour.
Heads of Lochinvar stock a large range of Yeti products, from coffee mugs, beer coasters, and also the new Yeti luggage range. Heads of Lochinvar have got it all. Yeti at Heads of Lochinvar.
Move quick. You don't want to miss these great deals at 40 Winks.
Any size mattress is the price of a single right now at 40 Winks. Plus, earn double Qantas points. Hurry, limited time only. Exclusions and T's and C's apply.
The McDonald Jones Freedom Sale is on now with free double glazing, free solar, free kitchen upgrades and more. Plus save an incredible $65,000 off your new home. Find your freedom and start saving with McDonald Jones today. Conditions apply.
The security guard who lost his life as he rushed in to try and stop the Bondi Junction massacre has today been farewelled a hero. The Prime Minister and New South Wales Premier paying tribute to the man alongside his colleague who tried to save his life.
To Faraz Tahir, Australia should have been paradise. Arriving 18 months ago from Pakistan, a refugee chasing a fresh start.
He had lots of dreams.
Courageous already, taking on a new life in a new country and a new job. But on his first day as a security guard at Westfield Bondi, his actions revealing his bravery's true extent. Today at Bait al-Huda Mosque at Marsden Park, the man who was alongside him as he died, fellow security guard Mohammed Taha, determined to travel from his bed at Royal Prince Alfred Hospital, a painful journey in every sense.
I wanted to see him. His last words were, "Let's find out what's going on."
New friends forever linked through tragedy, a bond now shared with Faraz Tahir's family.
What happened there is unimaginable. It's been like 2 weeks. I can't even sleep properly. Lots of nightmares. The trauma is horrific.
Wounded survivor and hurting brothers saying goodbye.
Emotional moments and painful as well.
Australia पे निछावर हो गए.
Yeah, what he said is still coming to reality, that we are talking to him, but he's not replying back to us.
Today's Friday prayers in English, the final actions of the security guard, a masterclass in sacrifice.
Setting an example for all. They should not run away.
Then outside, bathed in the sunshine of the city that promised for us to hear so much. A final farewell. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and New South Wales Premier Chris Minns leading our country in gratitude and respect.
Without question, Faraz Tahir died a national hero. Someone who would have been serving tea and coffee to the Anzac Day crowds.
A Red Cross campaign has been established named Faraz's gift, calling on the public to donate blood. 12 days after tragedy, this is the second funeral. There are still 4 to go. Around 1,000 people turning out today to say goodbye.
He was the strongest person and he was the bravest person I've ever seen. And he's our hero as well.
Ruth Wynne Williams, NBN News.
Australians have been hit with the biggest tax increase in the world, according to the latest OECD data. It sparked calls for wider tax reform as people struggle with cost of living pressures.
For Australians going to work, they're getting less in their wallets. The average Australian paid 7.6% more in tax last year compared to 2022. People on low incomes were dealt the biggest blow, with their tax burden increasing by 17%, while those on higher incomes saw just a 0.1% increase. The reason behind the tax rise was due to 2 factors. Bracket creep, that is, incomes going up over time, therefore pushing more people into higher income brackets, and ending the low and middle income tax offset, a temporary tax break started and ended by the coalition. The government says next month's budget will help.
The tax relief, which is coming on 1 July, can't get here quick enough.
The test is, will the government bring down a budget that's going to restore Australians' standard of living?
Some say broader tax reform is needed.
We need to rely less on taxing people who are working, wage earners, and looking at other ways of raising our taxes.
Advocacy groups say if you're not earning enough to pay tax, things are even worse, pointing to the government's own report released today, which says a substantial increase to JobSeeker should be a priority in next month's budget. The expert panel recommends the current rate of $54 a day be raised by $17.
We doubled it during COVID and the sky did not fall in. But what happened when we doubled it was that we instantly lifted 800,000 families out of poverty.
A 19-year-old who allegedly damaged police cars during the Sydney church riots has been granted bail after handing himself into police. Muslim leaders are tonight calling for more transparency from authorities on federal terrorism laws after 5 teenagers were arrested.
Orjwan Nafia, another piece of the puzzle. The 19-year-old handing himself to Fairfield police, claiming he is person A who detectives have been tracking and filmed here outside a Wakely church 12 days ago. And why did it take him so long to come forward?
I don't have these instructions.
Nafia granted strict bail, charged with damaging 2 police cars. Do you hate police officers? The riot erupted after a 16-year-old allegedly stabbed Bishop Marmari Emmanuel, that teenager now charged with an act of terrorism. The alleged attack leading to raids across Sydney this week, bringing in 5 more teenage boys now charged with terror offences.
The lack of evidence pointing to a concrete threat or plan among these youths, as noted by senior police officials, calls into question both the necessity and the manner of these operations.
The Australian Muslim community wants clarity.
The presumption that terrorism is inherently tied to religion is not only inaccurate but also harmful.
New South Wales Police responding, individuals are not targeted based on their gender, sexuality, ethnicity or religion. The Alliance of Peak Islamic Australian groups demanding a review into terrorism laws and the removal of the concept of religiously motivated terrorism from the legislation.
This lack of transparency exacerbates the distress within our community.
Erin Ramsey, NBN News.
The family of a young woman who went missing in Sydney's west is hoping a fresh search in the state's central tablelands will help bring them closure. Dozens of police and search specialists are combing one of New South Wales' most remote forests in search of Jessica Zirinsky.
It's been a year and a half since Jessica Zirinsky went missing, last seen in Bosley Park in November 2022.
It's been really hard not having her around.
The investigation into the 30-year-old's disappearance today leading homicide detectives to the Jenolan State Forest. From a command post 13 kilometres north of the Jenolan Caves, police will spend the weekend scouring bushland in search of answers.
To just give some kind of closure, like it's just tearing the entire family up bit by bit, and the longer it goes on, it's just...
The harder it gets.
Yeah.
One of the obvious lines of inquiry is that, she's met with foul play.
A heartbreaking possibility the Zirinsky family has been coming to terms with since a $500,000 reward for information was announced.
I think we'd just like to bring her body and her wandering spirit home so we can put it to rest.
It was this time last year the investigation led police and an army of 150 volunteers to bushland in the Blue Mountains. Chantel and her family hoping this time they can bring her sister home.
Former Liberal MP Darryl Maguire will defend charges over an alleged cash for visas scheme, but it'll be more than a year before his day in court. An ICAC investigation prompted a criminal investigation leading to accusations of migration fraud against the ex-member for Wagga Wagga. A trial date was today set for September next year.
We're at the hands of the court and they've set the date, so I'm happy with that. I certainly will fight to clear my name.
The trial is expected to run for up to 5 weeks. The expert consensus on the next move in interest rates is shifting in the direction of an increase rather than a cut. And one highly respected economist is now forecasting 3 rate rises before the end of the calendar year. Finance editor Chris Kohler spoke to him.
For borrowers, it'd be a nightmare, but one of the country's top economic forecasters is now predicting 3 interest rate hikes this year. He says, hopefully, it'll only be 3.
We're in a new, more inflationary world than we've seen for 30 years. And unfortunately, a 4.35% cash rate probably isn't high enough to address that inflation and, most importantly, to get rid of it.
3 hikes would take the cash rate to 5.1%, killing inflation. But for a family with a $700,000 mortgage, it'd mean finding another $317 a month. And they're already having to find an extra $2,000 more per month than they were before all the rate hikes started. But the Reserve Bank is focused on inflation, and the most recent data is stronger than expected.
So I'm still confident that this concept of the narrow path, that we can rid our economy of inflation without a bad recession, is still a viable one, but it does require the RBA to probably tap on the brakes a couple more times.
Crucial to note, this is not a view shared by many, if any, other major economists. The big 4 banks are still all forecasting at least 1 rate cut, most of them saying November. And CBA still says that we'll have 3 rate cuts this year. But the mood is shifting, and for millions of Australians, that's a big concern.
Coming up next, a huge victory for jailed rapist Harvey Weinstein, while the former Hollywood heavyweight has had a conviction overturned by a New York court. Own a piece of Australia's history. We go inside this magnificent heritage home. And our Kylie honoured by Time as one of the most influential people in the world.
Shopping online comes with digital threats. So turn on NordVPN. Steer clear of phishing websites and encrypt your online traffic. Get the deal now.
There was a time I was ready to hang up my boots. I'd fallen out of love with the game. I struggled to find a purpose. The power to change comes from within. I'm proof. Becoming a mother reignited the fire within me. Any sacrifice made to my career, my body, my life. It has all worth it. She is my purpose. She made me a mum and a stronger athlete. Now I'm not just living for me. It's forever us. As mothers, we face the world for them. How do you face the world?
Anything designed to carry the human body must be relentlessly refined and tested. The unique Sealy Posturepedic spring system senses and responds, working to align your body so you can get straight into your day.
Take a look inside Haagen-Dazs, made en France, where only the best will do. Combining rich cream, luscious buttery caramel with crunchy brittle pieces. Et voila, the ice cream of ice creams. Just buttery caramel with crunchy brittle pieces. Et voila, the ice cream of ice creams.
You have got to build a classic TV show.
Sunday, take your seats.
You've got 10 seconds to identify the TV show.
I'm not very good at names of TV shows.
Too late now, we're doing it anyway.
It's showtime.
Oh my gosh, it's not like Grease Lightning. Is that the opening of Friends? Is it?
In a super-sized week.
We're down here. Yeah. It's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Who will make the semi-finals?
I give you...
Are you okay, Hamish?
Everything's good.
Lego Masters, Sunday at 7 on 9.
To shave or not to shave? Shave, edge, trim, edge, shave, trim. To shave or not to shave? That. One Blade 360. Trim, edge and shave.
Choose your stain and fabric to suit your style. More to inspire at Harvey Norman now.
You're watching NBN News. These are our top local stories. A national rally has launched in Newcastle tonight calling for action on violence against women. A 34-year-old man has fronted Coffs Harbour Court charged over an horrific Anzac Day crash which claimed the lives of a father and daughter at Dorrigo. A former Maitland High School teacher who allegedly had sex with a student had his matter heard in court for the first time. Daniel Belcher is facing 9 counts of sexual intercourse with a person in his care. Firefighters have spent the afternoon controlling a bushfire at Doyleson on the Central Coast. It's understood to have now burned through around 20 hectares, but no homes are under threat. And the Tweed community has bid farewell to its 50-year-old hospital with services to move to the new Tweed Valley Hospital on May 14. Jailed rapist Harvey Weinstein has had a conviction overturned by a New York court, a decision angering accusers and those who founded the Me Too movement. But the disgraced movie producer is not a free man. He'll stay behind bars due to other criminal charges.
His case sparked the Me Too movement. Harvey Weinstein, a sex crimes predator.
My head just went into my hands and I couldn't believe what I was about to hear.
The now 72-year-old was jailed for 23 years, but his 2020 guilty verdicts have been overturned.
We knew that Harvey Weinstein did not get a fair trial.
In a 4-3 decision, the New York Appeals Court ruled the initial judge made egregious errors by allowing the testimony of women who were not central to the charges.
Today's legal ruling is a great day for America.
Weinstein's accusers are sickened. They numbered more than 100, one of the most prominent, furious.
This today is an act of institutional betrayal. And our institutions betray survivors of male sexual violence.
An appeals judge who went against the majority said men who serially sexually exploit their power over women will reap the benefit of today's decision. Me Too founders vowing to fight on.
A lot of us felt that we were on a road to seeing a different America.
this moment makes it feel like we were wrong.
The appeals court has ordered a new trial. Survivors, accusers, may have to relive their trauma, retell their allegations. But Weinstein won't be freed from prison yet. Harvey Weinstein was also found guilty separately at this Los Angeles courthouse of the rape and sexual assault of an Italian model and actress. He was jailed for 16 years. His lawyers say they're still appealing that conviction. A hearing is likely next month. In the United States, Jonathan Kersley, NBN News.
The Australian aid worker killed in an Israeli strike has been farewelled at an emotional memorial service in Washington. Somi Frankham and 6 other World Central Kitchen volunteers were hit by armed drones while on a food delivery in Gaza.
Somi Frankham, our beloved Somi, was at the very heart of World Central Kitchen. She was the living, breathing, smiling heart of everything we did in the field.
World Central Kitchen is calling for an investigation into the strike. Named for a governor and built for a mayor, Macquarie Field House is an epic estate rich with history. Set across 60 acres, it survived more than 180 years of development. And now it's on the market, ready for its next chapter.
A house on a hill in the heart of Glenfield, boasting 5 bedrooms, a 45-minute city commute, and a time capsule from 1840.
I don't think that Western Sydney in particular has too many heritage homes of this scale and size these days.
Macquarie Field House was built for Sydney's first elected mayor. At the turn of the century, it fell into disrepair for several decades before it was overhauled in the 1960s and sold off again. Evidence of each owner's evolving tastes apparent around each corner, but all of the original grandeur still intact.
Of the 16 rooms in the property, there's 8 fireplaces.
And that's only the half of it.
And back in the day, the downstairs was where the servants' area was. Today, I guess you can have living upstairs and bedrooms downstairs.
When a family last lived here, that's what they did. These were all converted to children's bedrooms. Over the years, this vast property has hosted 2 homes, a school, and it's thought, long before that, a convict barracks.
Finding 60 acres of land in such a built-up area is very, very rare.
As Sydney changed around it, this Victorian lady endured. It's a home rich in history and it's expected to go for a fortune. The vendor believes this property will sell for at least $10 million. It's only been on the market a week and it's already attracting a lot of interest.
It'd be fantastic to find a family or somebody who is passionate about heritage homes.
A small piece of paper with the word Bitcoin written on it has sold for over $1 million at auction. That starts Friday Finance with Chris Kohler.
Back in 2017, the head of the Federal Reserve was speaking at a congressional hearing about serious stuff, but a 22-year-old intern in the back held up a sign that said, "Buy Bitcoin," and that scribble on a notepad just sold for $1 million. It was apparently an iconic moment in the history of the cryptocurrency, and an anonymous fan was happy to pay 16 Bitcoins for it at auction overnight. That intern was kicked out for holding up the sign. You'd probably say it was worth it, though. For more traditional finance markets, it was a tough day, the ASX falling sharply, down over 100 points. The banks were lower, but it was a massive fall for BHP, which is trying to buy an overseas competitor, which caused the problem. And the Aussie dollar was stronger, buying 65 US cents, 61 euro cents, and 52 British pence.
For decades, Kylie Minogue's been influential in the pop music scene, but now she's been honoured as one of the world's most influential people. The recent Grammy winner walking the Time magazine Top 100 red carpet alongside fellow singers, writers and activists.
I probably could have fallen off my chair when I was told that I've made it onto the list this year. It's extraordinary to me.
Also on the list, Michael J. Fox, Dev Patel and Yulia Navalny, widow of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny. Is there anything she can't do? Jack Howard joins us now in sport. Jack, the Knights are out to lose an unwanted tag.
Tyson, they want to prove they're not a one-man team. After the break, the coach challenges his squad to step up in the absence of Caleb Ponga. Also ahead, the late mail from Brookvale ahead of tonight's clash between the Sea Eagles and the Eels, and the Giants unearth another rising star.
The local way is the alternative. Cafe crafted with baristas and made with nature's ingredients to be deliciously smooth and creamy. The local way is the alternative.
Saying a country is firing energy weapons through walls of buildings.
There's a new generation of weapon being developed. Hundreds struck down. It felt like my head was in a vice.
Bam, inside my right ear.
Extreme vertigo, you lose control.
The symptoms aren't in dispute. Who and what caused them is.
60 Minutes has the worldwide investigation, a baffling mystery reaching all the way to Australia.
Sounds like it's straight from a spy thriller.
Plus, Jess Fox takes you inside her Olympic family.
A dream come true to do that together.
Sunday.
So, Heineken's? Yeah.
Reducing greenhouse gas emissions in the production of copper is critical, and why BHP has committed to solar, wind and battery agreements to help power our Australian copper mine, Olympic Dam. It's happening now at BHP.
Off at the Plush Autumn Sale in Sunday.
Self-first thing Plush.
The McDonald Jones Freedom Sale is on now with free double glazing, free solar, free kitchen upgrades and more. Plus save an incredible $65,000 off your new home. Find your freedom and start saving with McDonald Jones today. Conditions apply.
The phrase a one-man team has been thrown around Newcastle a lot over the past year. The Knights now have a chance to put it to bed. Needing to lift without their skipper, the coach says there is no Ponga magic to rely on now. They say a week is a long time in rugby league. Just ask Adam O'Brien. After dealing with Jack Hetherington's tunnel incident and planning for 12 weeks without Caleb Ponga, the coach didn't have much time for rumours of a scuffle between Jackson Hastings and Will Price at training.
Literally a push and shove that you see in a game that doesn't halt the progress, so it's a slow news week if we're writing about that.
O'Brien just as blunt when asked what life without his superstar will look like.
If anyone was just sitting back, thinking that, KP will get this done for us, we can't have that now.
The Knights have only won 3 of their past 10 games without Caleb Ponga. It's led to an unwanted tag.
It would irk them a bit, just being told they're a one-man team.
With Tyson Frizzell still a week away, Dane Gagai has been named as co-captain for Sunday's game against the Dolphins, one of 2 duties the veteran is set to take on in Ponga's absence.
Gag slotted one from the sideline, which he keeps reminding us over here the other night, so he'll probably start with it.
As for his new fullback,
he's a bit of a larrikin. a country Queensland boy.
Starring in a pre-season trial against the Sharks, O'Brien admits David Armstrong was close to winning a spot on the wing earlier in the season.
There's been a few games where I've played him on the wing in cup because I thought we're just going to find a spot for this young bloke.
South's bosses say Jason Demetrio won't be sacked in the wake of the club's 54-20 Anzac Day defeat to the Storm. The under-pressure coach says he's still the man to save the Rabbitohs season, but has called on his players to start delivering.
The Bunnies arriving back in Sydney after another Storm smashing in Melbourne. Jason Demetrio's future as head coach still unclear.
We've got no idea, Jake. That's what I'll turn up to do. Like I've said before, I love coaching this club, love coaching this team. I'll turn up and keep giving me best. And if someone taps me on the shoulder and says that time's up, then I can't control that.
The bye week and arrival of new assistant David Furner doing little to stem their leaking defence. A 54-20 loss, South 6 in 7 matches. The club conceding 250 points this season.
A myriad of errors in terms of defensively that we've practiced. 100% we've practiced in and around our ruck, in and around our decisions on our edges, and we're just not nailing them when the pressure's on.
And as the pressure builds on the Rabbitohs boss, he put the heat on his players.
The players got to take some ownership of that. They take some ownership of their own performances and start executing the things that we know we can.
Already on the ropes, Demetrio's bid to save his job and South Sydney season doesn't get any easier. The Rabbitohs take on the reigning premiers Penrith on Thursday night.
100% it's salvageable, but like I said to the players, the talk's over. We need to deliver. We need to get it done.
Tane Milne is set to miss the Panthers showdown. The winger hit with a 2 to 3 week ban.
Probably ends a dumb night on a dumb note.
Zach Bailey, NBN News.
Brookvale will be rocking tonight as a sold-out crowd cheers on their Sea Eagles against old rival Parramatta. James Bracey and Jonathan Thurston are there with the late mail.
Manly and Parramatta, the old foes going head-to-head at Brookie. Doesn't get much better than this evening, JT.
Brace.
Looking forward to seeing what Parramatta do after what unfolded in front of your eyes, sideline last week in Darwin. It was a capitulation against the Dolphins.
Oh, it certainly was. And their coach at the presser gave them an absolute spray, called them part-time footballers. So I think he's done that to get a reaction out of them. So it'll be very interesting to see how they go tonight.
Manly just scraping home against the Titans last week. Where are they at the moment?
I think they're going all right. They're currently sitting 5th on the ladder, so they win tonight and they're temporarily in the 4. So there's some games there that they probably should have won as well. The last time they played the Eels, come down to the wire as well. So I think Anthony Seibold will be very happy with where they're at the moment.
Are they winning tonight?
Manly tonight, so hopefully it's a close one, but I can't see it happening.
All right, JT, confident about the Seagulls. Thank you, mate. Looking forward to this. It's Friday Night Footy. It is live right here on Nine's Wide World of Sports.
The GWS Giants unearthed another rising star, pint-sized Darcy Jones, making a big impact, kicking 2 goals on debut against the Brisbane Lions in Canberra.
He looked electric. He looked like every time he was near the ball something was going to happen. I think he showed really good composure for a guy playing his first game.
Despite missing suspended captain Toby Green and injured defender Sam Taylor, the Giants demolished last year's grand finalists in the second half, winning by 54 points. An eagle at the 7th hole was the highlight of Ken Smith's opening round as the Live Golf Tournament got underway in Adelaide this afternoon. Smith is 4 under, 5 shots behind the leader. Mexico's Abraham Ancer played the shot of the day, slam dunking his approach for an eagle at the 4th hole. Still to come, Advantage Manchester City. The defending premiers close in on the Premier League's top spot.
I love a sunburnt country. A land of ragged mountain ranges, of drought and flooding rains. When the lucky country isn't so lucky.
Lucky you're with Amy.
Hear that? That's the sound of you
Here's why you didn't miss a second of your team picking up their third consecutive loss. A dedicated dasher was picking up pizza with chicken salt chips. Step up to the podium, my friend, because you have smashed it. Smash it. DoorDash it.
Copper is critical to the energy transition, including the manufacture of electric cars, wind turbines and solar panels. The need for responsibly produced Australian copper is clear. It's happening now at BHP.
Australia's rising for a golden spectacular. Told you that I'll never stop. They are an unstoppable force. A famous city transformed into a stage. Have you ever seen anything like it? Volleyball under the Eiffel Tower. Riding for gold at the Palace of Versailles. Knockouts on Roland Garros. Australia, let's conquer the world and light up the magnificent streets of Paris. The Olympic Games, Paris 2024, live and free.
Ninth broadcast of the Olympic Games, proudly brought to you by Woolworths.
The Nick Scali April clearance ends Sunday with up to 40% off selected designer furniture. Save up to 40% of the April clearance. Ends Sunday at Nick Scali.
Harvey Norman hot deals on laptops on now. Save $130 on this Acer Aspire 3 laptop. Perfect for students. Now a low 368. Save $200 on this powerful Lenovo IdeaPad 1 with 16 gig RAM. Now only $778. Accelerate your performance with the awesome HP Victus 15 gaming laptop. Powered by an Intel Core i7 processor. Now $1298. Save a massive $800. These hot deals and more now at Harvey Norman. Your technology specialists.
This report brought to you by McDonald Jones, building the Australian dream for over 35 years.
Manchester City is closing in on top spot in the Premier League, thrashing Brighton 4-0. Phil Foden scored twice in the victory, which moves City into second, 1 point behind Arsenal, with a game in hand. She made her professional debut for the club in 2010, so it's only fitting that Alex Hewen is playing her final A-League season with the Newcastle Jets. But she plans to go out in style, eyeing off a grand final swan song.
Returning to the club where she made her debut.
My first season was actually in Newcastle in 2010, so it's been a hot minute.
It was a no-brainer for the 29-year-old to sign on when then coach Gary Van Egmond came calling.
I got the call, it was like after an NPL game, he'd watched me play and he called me and he was just really interested in kind of getting a little bit more experience around the girls, and he was like, the way I played really suited the way he wanted to play.
The Newcastle side has since had a stellar season, playing in their first semi-final series since 2009. Hewen seeing both the team and sport grow over 14 years.
The first season I played, I think I got paid $700, and I'd have to commute from Sydney 3 times a week, to now, being able to kind of move to a new city, relocate, be able to support myself. I think it's amazing. And then also just kind of seeing how well the girls are supported.
Finally feeling ready to take a step back.
And I started to sit on the bench a little bit more. I realised that I'm someone who doesn't like to sit on the bench, so it kind of just gave me another perspective, and I just think that, I've had a really good career. I'm happy with everything that I've achieved, and I think maybe it's time to just kind of figure out what's next.
It's not in the fiery defender's nature to give up the game entirely, though, returning to the NPL with the North Tigers. But she's determined to go out with a bang.
It'd be sick if my last game was a grand final. Going into this Sunday, big down the tools, we've got to score at least 4 goals. So I think it's definitely doable. But it's just, we've got a lot of belief in the girls, so it's not over yet.
Montana Claire, NBN News.
Jets coach Rob Stanton believes his men can end the A-League season on a high tomorrow night when Newcastle hosts the Mariners in the F3 Derby. The coach confident their 4-game undefeated run is a sign they've improved since their loss to the Central Coast in March.
And it really got down to one or two key moments, and they took the chance and we didn't. So I think the gaps, we like to think we're closing the gap.
Kick-off is just after 5 p.m. Cessnock head into the weekend on top of the Newcastle Rugby League ladder after a convincing win on Anzac Day. The pre-game commemoration was close to home this year as the club paid respect to one of its own. Newcastle Rugby League's first Anzac Day round finishing with a tribute to the late Lance Corporal Jack Fitzgibbon. Cessnock Sports Ground silent in honour of the former Goanna. With play underway, Lewis Young put his winger in for the opening points. Young and Mungardi doubling the lead and leaving the Hawks with a sense of deja vu. On fire, the Goanna's fullback brought Joe Woodbury in on the party. Mitchell Shaw wasn't going to sit back and let the wingers have all the fun. Cessnock running out to a 24-point lead at the break. Needing to score first, the visitors put on some champagne rugby league to start the second half. The cork quickly put back in the bottle, Mungardi wrestling back momentum with his third. Then it was all one-way traffic. The Goannas going on to win 44-6. That's Sport, Tyson.
Thanks, Jack. Weather's next.
Horizon is always moving, night and day, 24/7. Australia's largest rail freight company is delivering millions of tons of commodities right across our vast continent, safely and reliably. And Horizon is committed to growing the communities where we live and work as we continue to move towards helping create a more sustainable future. Horizon, we move, we deliver.
At HCF, we're all about giving value. We've got more CanStar awards than any other health fund and the lowest average rate rise of the major funds. And now with HCF Value Adds Q Confetti, we're also giving members the chance to take over our advertising. You could celebrate a birthday on a billboard, propose on primetime telly, or show off your skills on the radio. You can do whatever as long as it's legal. Is that legal? I think it is in Europe.
We've all been feeling cost of living pressures. That's why the Australian government's tax cuts from the 1st of July are for every taxpayer. Visit taxcuts.gov.au to find out how they'll benefit you. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Coming soon to Showtime. Okay. The boys. Coming soon.
Rego, CTP, stamp duty and dealer delivery. Get the new Ram Hemi V8 Bighorn today from $119,950 drive away. See your Ram dealer today.
Today, a few clouds around this morning and some sunshine this afternoon, but it was quite a nice end to the working week across the Hunter. A misty morning at Merriwa and a cold one too, down to just 4.5 degrees. The early start at Shaw paid off for Ian Peterson, who snapped this beautiful pic for tonight's weather shot. Taking a look at the satellite, and cloud with onshore winds is bringing some showers to the east coast, while the trough over western parts of WA is generating rain and elsewhere. An overcast morning, but a beautiful afternoon with light southerly winds. 20 degrees at Nobbies, 22 the top at Lake Macquarie, 21 at Williamtown. Cessnock reached 22 degrees, 22 also at Maitland after a low of 9 degrees. Tomorrow, early fog patches with some morning showers, but they should clear for a fine afternoon. Yet again, 23 degrees at Newcastle, 23 at Wallsend. Toronto, 23 after a low of 10 degrees overnight. Similar conditions at Maitland. Singleton, a chilly morning, 8 degrees. 8 degrees also at Muswellbrook. Coastal Waters information now sees 1 metre with a 3 metre swell off the Hunter Coast. The sun is up at 20 past 6. It will set at 20 past 5. The morning low tide is at 4:30 in the morning, and the afternoon low again at 3:54. Taking a look at the 7-day outlook now for Newcastle, and it's looking like a wet week ahead with some heavy falls expected from Tuesday, up to 25 mils on Tuesday and Wednesday, up to 20 mils on Thursday and Friday. Scone, some cool mornings on the way with some showers likely from Tuesday, up to 6 mils on Tuesday. And for Gosford, showers likely for the week ahead as well, particularly from Tuesday, up to 15 mils on Tuesday, Wednesday, continuing into Thursday and Friday as well. And that is NBN News for this Friday. Current Affairs next, followed by live Friday night footy. Good night.
I'm Ali Langdon. Welcome to A Current Affair. The grass freshly mown, washing still on the line, the grandkids' bikes in the backyard. But what police allege happened to a husband and wife in this suburban neighbourhood is nothing short of disturbing.
It's a tragedy. It's devastating. We hope to get to the bottom of it and learn more and try and understand how this incident occurred.
This is the last location you'd ever expect to find a grisly crime scene. Quiet acreage blocks with beautiful homes and manicured gardens. Now, homicide detectives are investigating whether a dispute over gardening could possibly have turned deadly.
We have a substantial crime scene here, which is being guarded and will be guarded for some time.
Forensic specialists spent the day combing over 2 neighbouring backyards in Burpengary East, north of Brisbane. One home belongs to Nicholas Reeves, aged 74, and his 71-year-old wife, Suzanne. Yesterday, Nicholas was allegedly murdered in his backyard, and Suzanne bashed so horrifically she's clinging to life in a Brisbane hospital. Now this man has been charged over the sickening attack, 26-year-old gardener Frederick Steele Sayers. It's understood a gardener was hired by residents here at this neighbouring property, but tasked with working across both homes. Neighbours say it was usual for gardening help to arrive here on a Thursday to assist the retirees with such a large block. But it's believed yesterday a different gardener came to do the work. It appears the hedges at the Reeves home have been cut recently, but the trimmings left in piles and not yet taken away. Washing still hangs on the line, another potential indicator of the sudden nature of this deadly conflict. The focus of investigators today was the neighbouring property, with evidence markers dotted through the yard alongside pieces of gardening equipment. Items seized for further analysis included a hedge trimmer and scaffolding that was erected near the Reeves' fence line. A large pickaxe was also located at the scene, but police have yet to confirm exact details of what is alleged to have occurred.
Police are still investigating if implements or weapons were used in this incident.
Detective Inspector David Harbison from Queensland Police.
I'll stress that this is not a domestic and family violence related incident. We don't believe the 26-year-old male person was previously known to the victims. We believe he just attended to do some form of gardening duties.
Frederick Steele Sayers, known as Steely to friends and colleagues, appeared in Pine River's court charged with 1 count of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. Details have begun emerging about the 26-year-old who was sacked by a previous employer at Northside Tree Services over issues in the workplace. He more recently worked for Colourful Tree Lopping, staff there confirming he was mostly working as an independent contractor, including on the day of the alleged murder. Both businesses were contacted by Sayers in recent weeks because he was looking for work.
And I had a lot of ambulance and police officers came at the same time. So that's why I heard there was really commotion going on.
Douglas Hutchings was across the road at the time of the incident. He assisted paramedics in their attempts to save Suzanne Reeves.
I just helped a woman that was under stress. She looked very out of it, gone. And I just helped the police officers and the ambulance officers put her on a gurney and put her in the ambulance.
Hutchings also confronted by the disturbing scene faced by first responders.
I say a pickaxe. And they told me not to go anywhere near it.
The Reeves family are believed to have raised their 3 daughters at the family home where they've lived for 30 years. One neighbour delivered a floral tribute to the front gate, but was too upset to speak on camera about the well-respected couple. In recent years, Nicholas and Suzanne had retired from a Burpengary roller door business where flowers were also laid today. A whole community in total shock at the violence allegedly dished out to a much-loved couple, with the accused gardener waiting quietly nearby when police arrived.
He was not injured. He was taken into police custody without incident, and he had no obvious injuries at that point.
And our thoughts are with Suzanne and her family tonight. We're hoping she pulls through. This is a place with a lot of smiles, a community for disabled kids who need a little extra help. For 40 years, it's been a godsend for parents. So when the government said it's time to close, they said, no way.
So to have a wonderful service like this to support us as parents, it's just been a lifesaver.
At the moment, they're just saying, no, the land is ours. You're out.
Paved the way for Liam to have a successful school life, and now he works at Woolworths, has done for over 6 years.
It's prime property, prime real estate, it's river frontage, zoned for 8 stories, I think it's a 4-hectare site. So it's you can draw your own conclusions.
It's a place where those who need a little extra help come together. But these people say it's more than that. They say it's a beacon of hope.
It's about our families and building the best future for people with disability in our community.
Shaping Outcomes is an early intervention disability support service at Tweed Heads in northern New South Wales. Its mission to help children with disabilities and learning difficulties grow into independent adults. But there's a problem. The land Shaping Outcomes sits on belongs to the New South Wales government and runs alongside the old Tweed Hospital. It is being decommissioned, and management here have been told there's no room for them at the new hospital.
They told us that they're going to put temporary fencing around our building, and we just don't have any access to it, and we have to get out.
After more than 4 decades in operation, New South Wales Health is evicting this not-for-profit organisation, despite the fact their building has been upgraded and maintained by the local community. Cole Usher is Shaping Outcomes CEO.
Our local community organisations, families, lots of parents over the last 40 years have donated from their own pocket to build this space.
It's absolutely critical for early intervention for children, but it's not just for the children, it's also supporting the whole family.
Holly Scantleton has used the service for son Jack.
He's worked on his fine motor skills, his social skills, his speech. Yeah, and through the wonderful support of Shaping Outcomes, he now no longer needs support because he is now thriving at school, he's making friends.
Tracy Foister also received help nearly 30 years ago with her son Liam.
Helped me get a job. I work at Woolies, have worked at Woolies for over 6 years.
And I really put that down to those foundations and that were set in place from this service.
There have been rumours of a redevelopment since Tracy and Liam were using the service, then known as the Early Intervention Centre in the late 90s. But those running it have always been promised it would be taken care of, including in 2 letters from a former Tweed Hospital boss.
It is my understanding that there will be equivalent facilities for the Tweed District Early Intervention Centre to operate out of, be it on the existing site or on a new site on the hospital block. If your facility is affected by the redevelopment, then there will be full consultation, and it is our intention to replace like with like.
And we expect that the things that they've promised over 40 years, that they would actually honour, because we made investments based on that promise.
But their pleas have fallen on deaf ears.
Shaping Outcomes is required to vacate the premises by the 12th of May 2024. Any property of Shaping Outcomes, its staff or contractors must be removed by this date.
Forced out, their new temporary location is suitable for now, but it comes at a cost.
It was an expense that we hadn't budgeted for, haven't included for this year, so we're going to take another hit this year.
A current affair approached New South Wales Health Minister Ryan Park. His department told us,
the Northern New South Wales Local Health District remains in discussions with Shaping Outcomes regarding their concerns over the future of the existing Tweed Hospital site.
We want to see their service continue in the Tweed and the Northern Rivers for many, many years to come.
We'll fight the fight and we'll see what we can come up with. We will continue to provide early childhood intervention in the Tweed and the Northern Rivers and beyond. We will continue to support our families, and together we'll build a stronger community. So thank you so much for being part of it today.
Thank you.
What a community, and surely it's not a big ask considering everything this service has done. So I say, come on, New South Wales Government, step up, do the right thing and save it. If you think you can score a cheap holiday, you take it right, but be careful what you sign up to. What one operator marketed as a holiday club was a dodgy timeshare. It's cost families a fortune and they can't get out.
The only way you'll get out of it is to die.
Oh, Tika, please let me out of these shares, please.
who wouldn't love to find a cheaper way to take your family on holidays to places like the Gold Coast?
Old Tika, a name synonymous with quality,
especially with a cell like this.
And most importantly, lifelong memories of special holiday experiences.
When it comes to timeshare, it's definitely a case of buyer beware, especially in light of a federal court judgment which compared some of the products to sludge. Easy to get into, hard to get out of.
Oh, Tika is disgusting. They are disgusting, they are predatory, they prey on people's hopes and dreams, and they don't care.
Karen Rout is recovering from breast cancer, but is also one of hundreds of Aussies desperately trying to get out of the Old Tika Lifestyle Club, stuck in lifetime contracts, sucking up hundreds of dollars per year.
If I'm no longer satisfied, if I can no longer get something for my shares, if I can't get bookings, my shares are worthless, so let me get out.
On a day, I dropped my guard down and it cost me.
70-year-old Mick Bussier is stuck too, even though his wife Christine passed away last year after a long battle with cancer, curtailing any future travel dreams.
In 11 years, we only used it twice.
So 2 holidays.
2 holidays.
That's it.
Yeah.
The cost of those 2 holidays was a whopping $18,000 up front, followed by $800 per year in fees, a grand total of $27,000 over 11 years.
What did you think when you saw how much in fees you've been
It's
paying?
just such a big waste of money, and you got the zip for it.
Gold Coast-based Mick says he's been bamboozled by all the fine print, enlisting the help of his daughter Louise, who lives in Ballarat, to try to help him escape.
He's not getting any younger. He's on an age pension. It's more expenses that he just doesn't need and holidays that he's never going to take.
Do they make it easy for people to understand all this?
Are you kidding? If everybody could understand it that simple, nobody would buy it.
Customers like Mick and Karen say they were never told they were signing up for timeshare, only discovering the truth when it came time to book a holiday.
I like this place. They go, that's not available. And I said, okay, well, I like this place. Oh, that's not available. I go, what do you mean it's not available? And they said, it's a timeshare. And I said, no, I didn't sign up for a timeshare.
The predatory conduct of Altika Lifestyle Promotions was laid bare in a federal court judgment, which uncovered a sales manual issued to staff.
Once your client is on the sales deck, they come to the grim realisation that this is a sales environment, and what is going through their mind is, how can we get out of here? And if you give them the chance, they will. Do not give them the chance.
That's the definition of a shark, isn't it, right there?
Yes, absolute sharkism at its best.
How can you look yourself in the mirror each night knowing you ripped off a family? And you didn't just rip them off once, you're ripping me off for 40 years.
It was quite disturbing just to see the practices that were there.
Effie Zahos from InvestSmart says the entire timeshare industry has been put on notice by ASIC's successful prosecution of Altika Lifestyle Promotions.
The message that ASIC had for this one operator was very alarming and very concerning for consumers thinking of jumping into a timeshare.
Altika Lifestyle Promotions was whacked with a $900,000 fine by the federal court over its conduct. That company was already in liquidation and the fine has not been paid. A different Altika company operating out of the same Gold Coast address and with almost identical company directors continues to run the holiday club. A spokesperson telling us the action does not in any way affect the operations of Altika Lifestyle Scheme.
It's sickening that they're just making profit off people paying fees who have no way to get out of a contract that they've signed, not really understanding what they've signed at the beginning.
Altika claims 1,378 holidays have been booked by its members in the year to date, but judging by these online reviews, there's many unhappy customers.
Don't waste your money. You won't get it back. We want out.
Biggest con job ever, and a total waste of our time.
This is as close to being an illegal scam as you'll get without going to jail.
Altika's telling me that I have to spend, until I die, I have to spend $200 a year on shares that are completely worthless. And I understand that maybe I was stupid, but how long do I have to pay for that mistake? Surely there has to be an out clause.
They are pleading with the CEO of Altika Group, Mark Henry, to let them out.
Be honest and upfront, completely disclosing how this works. Don't be a shark. More sharks on Gold Coast sand than in the water.
Let me out of my contract. I would like to appeal to the Australian government to stand up to Altika and let us out.
Altika says it will only exercise discretion to cancel a membership where hardship has been proven. And if you're stuck in one of the contracts, there's information on our website about steps you can take. Up next, the grandma taking on council over a whopping fine.
With all the paperwork that I have, I'm in the right.
Headaches can impact performance. Unleash the speed of liquid with Nurofen Advanced Liquid Capsules for fast headache relief when it matters most. You win the game, we'll do the headache relief fast.
When she has a cold, you just want her to feel herself again. You enjoy the show. We'll do the cold and flu, pain and fever relief for up to 8 hours. Nurofen, leave the pain and fever to us.
Double demerits come into force this holiday period. And police can enforce the road rules anywhere, anytime. So if you speed, don't wear a seatbelt or motorcycle helmet, or hold your phone while driving, you can stop it or cop it.
Brushing and flossing removes germs and plaque temporarily. Listerine destroys them. It beats plaque with 5 times more cleaning power than brushing and flossing alone. Complete the clean with Listerine.
Doing it anyway!
It's showtime.
Oh my gosh, it's not like grease lightning. Is that the opening of Friends?
I came to Adjustacare because I needed a new bed. The staff helped me pick the right bed for my needs. They delivered it to home. I couldn't be happier.
Adjustacare Waters Bay, the care is choice in every way.
This weekend only at Amart, save 20 to 50% on sofas, lounges and recliners, so you can transform your home for less. T's and C's apply. Offer ends Sunday, so hurry into Amart.
A grandma has been threatened with arrest all over a parking fine. She did the right thing and paid it, but a council blunder kept charging her more and more.
Could be arrested if the sheriff comes to my door.
Grandma Stephanie is in a world of trouble.
We're getting older in our years and, it's not nice to have that hanging over you. I'm frightened that you're going to take your car outside and a policeman may stop you.
The one thing I can't get over with this, the evidence is being provided, yet they still continue to hound people.
So what's this unlikely criminal done?
I went for a coffee with a girlfriend in Sorrento, parked at the parking bay, overstayed my welcome, and I think I was there for about 3 hours. When I got back to the car, little ticket on my windscreen saying I got a $92 fine.
It happened back in February 2023 on Victoria's Mornington Peninsula. Within days, a remorseful Stephanie paid the fine, only that's where this story starts.
Paid the $92, went on holiday, came back to a letter saying it hadn't been received, hadn't been paid, that the fine was now, I think, $182. Can somebody there help me? Basically phoned them and said, that, this is incorrect. I've got the paperwork. I've got the reference number from Mornington Council to say that it had been paid, gave them the details. And thought that would be it.
Yes, despite sending them the proof and a copy of her bank statement, bureaucrats at Victoria's Mornington Peninsula Shire refused to budge.
I really can't understand why, with all the paperwork that they've been given, with the reference numbers, with the payment, printed out from the credit cards, how they cannot find that payment has been made.
So council referred the debt to Fines Victoria, leaving Stephanie scratching her head.
Not happy about it, that's for sure.
A year on, the fines ballooned to $559, and Stephanie's been told if she wants to fight it, go to court.
They've given me a payment plan to pay. I advised that I didn't need a payment plan because it's already been paid. And we've just been getting letters saying that it's doubling, tripling in the amount that's owing. And the last time I spoke to Fines Victoria, they said that the sheriff would appear at my door, that my car could get impounded. So you're saying that I could be arrested?
So where to from here?
Current affair. And hopefully you can help us.
24 hours after we got in touch with the Mornington Peninsula Shire Council, an embarrassing mea culpa. Finally, some common sense. We have investigated this matter and found the infringement was paid to the wrong infringement number. The matter will be withdrawn from our systems and deregistered at Fines Victoria.
I would not budge. I would not pay, and I would make these situations as public as possible.
Consumer advocate Adam Gleeser says Stephanie's story isn't an isolated one.
It's the only way that Fines Victoria and other government entities may actually change, through absolute embarrassment, because it's not going to be for their care of the people.
For me, with all the paperwork that I have, I'm in the right, and I know that we've paid the fine. So to me, we've done nothing wrong.
So crazy and so much stress. We're just glad it's finally sorted for you, Stephanie. Coming up, Holden history up for sale.
Most of the cars that we have have got stories of their own.
Amazing footy. He lines up and takes the kick.
Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. Ni le bien qu'on m'a fait, ni le...
Right through the middle. Missed the action because of Pringles. They're so good though.
Experience the smooth, barista-crafted taste of free coffee for a year. Free. Buy any McCafe coffee on the My Macca's app for a chance to win.
You have power. Use it to control your energy and your spending. Track your usage in the palm of your hand. Use less and spend less. You have power to take control.
To shave or not to shave? Shave, edge, trim, edge, shave, trim. To shave or not to shave? That. One Blade 360. Trim, edge, and shave. This fun-loving Aussie farmer has more on the line.
I need the money back.
Than anyone.
I'm about to lose my farm to the banks. I went through floods 2 years ago and I dragged 40 horses out of the paddock up hills like this.
14 Aussies, $1 million.
This is my life and my kids' life on the line.
The new Summit soon on 9.
Need fast sore throat relief? Trust Difflam, the sore throat experts. Difflam dual action lozenges provide fast relief in 2 minutes, so you can get back to your best. Ah, the Difflam difference.
So drive slowly around roadworks in New South Wales. And look after the people who are making our roads safer. Slow down. Road workers around.
Is intelligent life out there? Or is it buying a 28-centimetre non-stick cast aluminium pot for only $34.99? It's special you can buy at the Aldi Family Cook-Up Sale this Saturday. Aldi, good, different.
You can't be bored in Newcastle when you can go to Hunter Ice Skating Stadium.
Friday afternoon kids disco.
Friday night, skate night.
And skate for hours in weekend super sessions.
It's awesome.
Google Hunter Ice Skating Stadium, Warners Bay.
The Nick Scarley April clearance ends Sunday with up to 40% off selected designer furniture. Save up to 40% at the April clearance. Ends Sunday at Nick Scarley.
Well, girls and boys, it's been another very exciting day for our friend Big Dog. Lots of adventure and fun for everyone. But now it's time for Big Dog to say goodnight. Good night, Big Dog. Good night, girls and boys. Sweet dreams.
Tomorrow night, it's as Aussie as Vegemite, Lamingtons and the word crikey. It's Holden. And from Kingswoods to Commodores, how you can buy a slice of history.
It's as Aussie as
a Holden Museum.
Choco-Block with classic cars.
1975 HJ Kingswood.
Back in the olden days, everyone had a passion for either their Fords or their Holdens.
Not anymore. The museum's closing. History lost.
I am a Holden girl and I'll have that story for you tomorrow. That's our program. I'm Ali Langdon. Thanks for your company. Have a great weekend.